Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lehns and you're watching Get Germanized Austria versus Germany.
All on board. What should I do?
Ah, ich weiß.
Before we begin the video, here's a quick message from our sponsor today, Lingoda. You can still sign up for the Lingoda Language Marathon until the 14th of January. Don't forget to do it because after that, you will miss out on a really cool opportunity. You can take a language class every day for 3 months. That's 30 classes per month for the full marathon or 15 classes per month for the half marathon. Don't forget, Lingoda will refund your tuition fee in full if you attend the agreed number of classes within each marathon month by following the contest rules in the terms and conditions. Check them out, also linked in the video description. There's no trick or catch here. The only thing required is that you show up on time and take the classes that you booked and actively participate. You basically boost your language skills or even learn an entirely new language in just 3 months. And you can join the marathon for English, German, French, Spanish, or even business English. And it doesn't matter if you're a complete beginner, intermediate, or advanced learner. At Lingoda, you will find appropriate courses for your level. In addition to that, Lingoda provides all the course materials which are free to access in your student platform. So sign up for the Lingoda Language Marathon before January 14th using the exclusive link in the video description and the even more exclusive voucher code presented to you right here to reduce your entrance fee to just 50 cents or 60 rubles. And you also now have the opportunity to secure your spot through the Pay Now special at a discounted price, 10% off for a limited time only. Select the Pay Now option at the payment. This will allow you to receive your first set of credits up front and book classes straight away for your first marathon month. There's no entrance fee for Pay Now and you are paying your first month up front, but you can still use the voucher code regardless. For regular prices, see the marathon landing page, also linked in the video description. You can also check out the video I made about the Lingoda Language Marathon. It is linked also in the video description. And now let's get on with the video.
In the last couple of videos, I've compared the Austrian slang, or the Austrian words, to the German words. To the German words, I could have said as well, I suppose. And today we're actually going to compare the countries and the cultures a little bit. So I'd say let's get started right away. Piefkes versus Ösis. So Piefke is actually an Austrian German word for Germans. Piefke. I'm not 100% sure where that comes from. I believe has to do with the Austrians thinking we're a little bit arrogant, maybe looking down on them or something like that. Piefke, like an arrogant, oh, what a piefke. I don't think that's the case though. We respect the Austrians. I believe they have, like, everything is super top-notch quality there. They have beautiful nature. That's what I think about Austria. I've never been, but just thinking about it, yeah, it's very like classy and very polite and very good quality, everything, like architecture-wise and product-wise. Just, yeah, I hold them in high regard even though I have never been there, so that's interesting. While the German word for Austrian people is Ösi. It just comes from Österreich, which is Austria. Ösi, the person that lives in Austria. So not as mean as the Austrian word. Germany is considerably bigger than Austria. We have over 357,000 square kilometers to call, well, our own, or Germany, I suppose. While Austria has only a little bit over 83,000 square kilometers. Germany also has a lot of more inhabitants with like 82 million people versus 8 million people, or 8,800,000 or something like that. So considerably more inhabitants. The main language spoken in both countries is German, and both countries are a federal parliamentarian republic. And both countries also have a similar climate. During my research, I came across a YouTuber talking about him being surprised about being able to buy cigarettes at the supermarket counter in Germany, because that is a complete weird thing, a complete no-go. I wanted to say, but it's actually, it happens in Austria too, just not a lot. In Austria there's a specific shop where you can buy those, and that's the Trafik. There you can buy all your cigarettes, or your chicks as you call them in Austrian German, but we talked about that already in the slang word video. But yeah, apparently it's weird that he can do that, and he compared it to buying weapons in a flower shop, or being able to buy guns in a flower shop. Why would you be able to buy cigarettes in the supermarket, he said. And I kind of agree, I suppose. It's kind of weird, but here it's just normal. I don't like it since I don't smoke. I wish cigarettes just didn't exist. That'd be great. But we don't live in a world like that just yet. Maybe some people don't want to live in a world like that, who knows. Smoking in general is way more common in Austria than it is in Germany, at least in public restaurants and clubs and bars and stuff like that. Because in Germany there's a smoking ban for these establishments, and I believe they need to have separate smoking rooms. In Austria they tried to ban cigarettes as public smoking as well. It didn't work because I think the one that said no, this is not going to happen mainly was one of the politicians that smoked a lot himself. Not sure if that's the case. Actually, I read up on that and it seems to be like this. Maybe help me out with this, but that would be ridiculous if someone was in charge of deciding upon the smoking ban that is a heavy smoker. But yeah, Austrians just love to live in their smoky goodness, apparently, from what I've heard so far at least. But at least they raised the smoking age from 16 to 18 in Austria these days. It's also now punishable by law to smoke while you have minors with you in the car. They will make you pay up to 1,000 euros if they catch you doing that. Apparently Austrians dance even less than Germans. But I believe the YouTuber that I watched was making a comparison to Vienna versus Berlin, and Berlin is just very different from a lot of parts in Germany. Also, the rest of Germany is very different to Bavaria, and it's just, you can't generalize, so I really don't want to. I'm just trying to basically show you what I found. And maybe some people in the chat, in the comments, will say, yeah, that in my part of Austria and my part of Germany is completely different. For example, in northern Germany, we are not known for our dancing skills, let me tell you that much. Guys usually just dance like this on the dance floor and shuffle step from left to right. And that's basically it. And many girls do this too. So no hands on the floor, twerking, whatever, that's just not something we do. And I'm not sure where they would do that. Maybe in Berlin. Maybe in Berlin. But apparently in Austria even less so. So there's that. If it's possible, I'm not sure. But apparently Austrians are even more polite than Germans. Oh, we're so polite. No, that's not what I mean. We are piefkes sometimes, yes. But apparently even young people, teenagers, use the polite form Sie when they talk to each other when they meet. Oh, wie geht es Ihnen heute? Könnte ich Sie von einem kleinen Pläuschchen am See überzeugen? Anyway, they just use a lot of polite conversation forms, apparently. Which is strange between teenagers. That would never happen here in Germany. Especially if you talk to someone your own age, you just wouldn't use it. At least not unless they're like your boss or like a work colleague from another company or something like that. Even then, if it's really your same age, like, I don't know, but in Austria they don't care apparently. They just use the polite form, which is kind of nice in a way. Definitely more polite, yes, but also confusing for Austrians that come to Germany, because here we won't do that. And apparently it's weird that shop attendants also use the impolite form du instead of Sie to Austrians, because in Germany that will happen. Not often, actually. Kann ich Ihnen helfen is usually what they will say. Can I help you? Like the polite way of saying this, instead of kann ich dir helfen. But I guess if you come from a society where it's really just the norm to use a polite form on every single person, then I understand that that seems very rude. And I have a funny comment actually. It was a feeling of rape. On my first day in Germany, I wanted to just buy a few things. Once I stepped into the shop, I was approached by a salesperson. Hey, do you, the impolite form, look for something in specific? I was so shocked. I didn't know how I should react. Then I just left the shop for real. It's just so funny. So they left the shop because they were so shocked about having been approached as du and not sie. So definitely be careful when you go to Austria, apparently, and don't use du on anyone. Another thing is apparently that we covered this in the other video before about the slang words, that ordering coffee is like an art form in Austria because they have very different words from us Germans. And here's a little story from an Austrian coming to Germany again, saying, and coffee. Some weeks had to pass until I was able to order a coffee without disgust and confusion. Honestly, I still don't know what they mean by just coffee. I asked, and when they answered, they said, well, normal coffee. So they were confused because coffee, if you say, hey, I want coffee in an Austrian coffee shop or whatever, in a cafe, then they would look at you like, okay, what kind? Like you need to specify. While in Germany, if you just ask for a coffee, it's just normal filter coffee, just black, without milk and stuff like that. Könnte ich einen Kaffee haben, bitte? Could I please get a coffee? And then they would just give you one. No big deal here in Germany, at least, most of the time. Some people might take offense and ask like, oh, what kind? But not often. Another story about coffee. During one of my countless visits in Berlin, so from an Austrian person, one event definitely took its toll on me, I have to say. I ordered a small, strong coffee. That's what I said. And they brought me a jumbo mug and a small cup and said, mach dir das selbst, so do it yourself. That's what they said. I never ordered coffee again in Germany. So they tried this in Berlin, apparently. Well, the most different city that you can find, I guess, to the rest of Germany and Bavaria. From now on, the daily visit in a supermarket was the anchor of my tiny try to relax. But the Vienna person cannot relax. We just know walking around, which is like gesude. I had to look that up. Actually, I forgot to include that in my slang word video, so here's a little extra one for you. Gesude. From what I've seen, at least, I looked for a long time to find the meaning of this word. It just means to run around stressed, like, oh, gesude. So they can't relax. They can only gesude or sudden, I don't know. Something else I found out about Austria is that as a startup company, you will have a more difficult time to get your product sponsored by anyone or paid for. If it's not 100% complete yet. If you just have an idea, that's not good enough. You need to have the finished product to show and make sure that it works and show them that too. But in Berlin, for example, it's much easier to get sponsorings just with an idea. Not so much in Austria. Again, Germans think Austrians are cute and the language is cute. And Austrians hate that and call us piefkes because of it. Because it seems arrogant, like looking down on them like, oh, your language is so cute. Piefke. That's not what we do though. Like we just honestly like it. We think it's cute. We like to listen to it. Maybe we smile a little bit because it sounds cute to us, but that doesn't mean we don't like your language or we look down on you. It's really not the case. I love Austrians, they're so cool. Granteln, so the complaining culture that they have in Austria, it exists in Germany as well. I talked about this in my last video, about the slang words. But here's a little story. The Granteln of the Vienna people was never far. In Germany and Austria, people love to complain about their life situation and forget often how good they have it. Even those that do not have it that well, they will still be caught by their social system, so by welfare and stuff like that, right? So still, in Germany and Austria, even if you are pretty poor, you still are probably in the 1% of the world. Like you still have it better than 99% of the world. So think about that before you granteln too much or nörgeln, which are the words for complaining in German and Austrian German. Apparently you will have to speak German in Austria if you want to get a job anywhere. Because in Berlin, for example, in Germany, you will be able to sometimes just speak English. That is a no-go in Austria. That is just not possible. You don't get a job if you don't speak German there. So good luck. I mean, there might be exceptions every now and then. I'm pretty sure there are Irish pubs in Austria too, where you find a job when you only speak English, but it's very, very rare, and even rare in comparison to Germany. Something else that might interest a lot of you out there is that in Austria you might have an easier time to get into university because they don't have that numerus clausus culture, which is basically the grade average that you need to get into certain majors. For example, you need a certain grade average to get into, I'm not actually sure if that's true in Germany, but into law, for example, or anything like that. Some majors don't have that because they just make the first exams so difficult that all those who are not qualified get kicked out anyway. But I think that's kind of stupid. I mean, well, it depends. It's kind of cool because then everyone that like no matter what grade average they got from high school or from the school they were in before, no matter what grade average they have, they could just try to get into that major and succeed if they study enough. But it's apparently proven like the method to just make the first exams really hard, and then those who are not cut out for it will be kicked out. It's kind of harsh though. In Austria, that's just, I'm not sure about the exams, but there's no grade average that you need. You can just, if there's spots enough left, then you can just do it. You can just go. And also that's why there's a little bit of a stereotype in Austria about like NC, so numerus clausus, refugees. So Germans that come to Austria because they can't make it here in Germany. They can't get in. But I think the grades that you had in school, in high school, are not representative at all if you make a good doctor or a good lawyer or something like that, because I was super lazy sometimes in school, and now if I wanted to get into a certain field of work, I would work my ass off because I know that's what I want to do, that's my passion, and I think it's the same with many people. So that system in Austria I actually prefer. In Austria, the biggest group of foreigners is, or are, the Germans. It's so funny to me. I don't know why that is funny to me, but it is. So basically the same kind of people as Austrians with a little bit of a different mentality and language. But that's basically the biggest foreigner group there. While in Germany, the biggest foreigner group are the Turkish people, followed by the Polish people, I believe, and then Italians and Syrians. So vastly different foreigner groups. I mean, our country is much bigger too, keep that in mind. But still, Austrians are way more strict apparently when it comes to letting foreigners in and letting them stay, and what kind of foreigners they let in as well. That actually brings me to my next topic, that right-wing mentality, the right-wing mentality or extreme right-wing mentality is way more common and also socially accepted in Austria than it is in Germany. In Germany, politicians especially really have to be careful how they word things in regards to like foreigner policies and refugee policies and stuff like that. In Austria, they just don't care. I've heard that many of them talk similar to how the AfD, the AfD talks in Germany, the political party, this right-wing party. And it's just accepted and it's normal there. But also crime rates related to right-wing extremism are 7 times as high in Austria as they are in Germany, because in Germany the law is way more strict. So they just don't do as much, I don't think, because they think it's not worth it maybe. Oh, I'm gonna go to prison for my whole life or whatever. Something where we are more equal though is the beer consumption. I think Germany leads with like 98 liters per person a year. And I think Austria has like, what, 96 point something liters per person per year. In comparison to Germany, Austria just has 2 major city districts, like metropolitan areas, I suppose, like Graz and Wien, Vienna and Graz. How do you even say that in English? But Germany has so many big cities: Munich, Cologne, Stuttgart, Berlin, Hamburg, list goes on, right? Also the nature I have to give it to Austria. It's probably more beautiful there than here in Germany, even though we do have very beautiful areas too. In Austria, they apparently use a lot of sarcasm and irony in their daily language and jokes, and also use pretty offensive jokes sometimes, like they hurt someone's feelings with those, or at least they would in Germany, while there it's just normal, at least from what I heard. So don't take this too serious. Probably there's some sensitive people in Austria as well, but apparently not as much as here in Germany. Because that's what they say about us Germans all over the world, right? We don't understand sarcasm, we take everything way too serious, and maybe that's true a little bit. And yeah, that's my comparison, Austria versus Germany. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you had fun and learned something. And if you have more differences and similarities, please let me know about them in the comments. Watch another video, for example, the slang words videos, Germany German versus Austrian German. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.